Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. My name is Sir Murray Walker, aka Mr. Evil Dragon X, a year older today, boy here, and welcome to the finest circuit. Welcome to Rouen Essarts, situated, of course, in France. We'll talk about that more later on, but again, joining me today on this beautiful April the 1st evening, it is the one and only, it is Miss Jess. Say hello again, Jess.
Good evening, Evil. Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone is doing fine and hope everyone is staying safe in this lockdown period. And last week, Evil, was just a fantastic race. It was great to see the drivers back again. And we saw an unfamiliar face on the top step of the podium. So it was great to see new faces actually battling it out for the win than we're usually expecting.
Yeah, new faces, old surprises. We have Apano running up there at the top. Both of the VSR drivers struggling in the race where they both could not get the car hooked up. They are hoping for a stronger race today around a circuit which is going to be more about consistency than outright pace. Narrow, twisty, winds its way around, of course, the outskirts of Essarts, the little area known as Rouen. And the circuit not too far away from the city of Normandy, of course, where if you know World War II, you know this circuit, you know what Normandy is indeed. Well, the first race was held in 1950, most commonly known for the Formula One. Last held race in 1994 on a circuit that's very much remained the same up until that point, and that is the reason why it no longer exists. And today, Jazz, I feel we might just be proving why it might not be usable anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And these are one of those races where consistency is key, because it's not just one race the drivers will have to face today. It is two races, a new format which is going to be trialled for GT3, but it has been in the Philippines for quite some time now, so it'll be interesting to see if it works. So we'll start with qualifying as per usual, 15 minutes, and then there's going to be a sprint race of 11 laps, and then there's going to be, after that, a feature race with 23 laps where the top 8 will be reversed. So whoever finished in the top 8 in the sprint race, the person who finished 8th, they will start on pole, and then 7th, 2nd, etc, etc, etc. All remaining drivers will start in their finishing positions, and then it'll be the AOR rolling start. In the sprint race, it'll just be a normal standing start. As soon as the fire lights go on, they can go. So should bring out some interesting strategies, and also, Evil, no mandatory pit stops required, but I think we'll probably see a few people going into the pits, maybe.
Indeed, well, potentially, of course, damage the circuit narrow. Areas to look out for, and we'll talk to them when we are in the server as well, is going to be the narrow first couple of corners, the hairpin as well, and of course, that winding, tricky uphill left section. Of course, that little kink down the straight, which can easily catch drivers out. But we've got a hot lap ready for us, Jess, I believe, don't we?
Yes, we do, and that is going to be driven and commentated by our very own tier coordinator, Jazzman. So I hope you enjoy.
Yo guys, Jazzman, yep, taking you around the track for our race this evening for the AOR GT3 Tier 1 League. Heading into the first corner, you want to just keep it in 6th. Easy, flat. Just avoid these curbs on the outside, as they are very dangerous. Next corner, you want to just have a dab of the brake, get down into 5th. That automatically just pushes the front of the car down and makes it easy to go through. This is an easy flat, this next corner. Now we're into quite a tricky braking zone, as this is very tight and quite a big heavy braking zone into the tight hairpin. You want to try and get on the power as early as possible and open up the steering, so you can get a good exit. Heading up now, this is the fast left-hander. What you want to do is just do a tiny lift off to just get the nose of the car to hunker down and point into the corner, then you just go back on full throttle. This next corner is very important in this left-hander. You want to get a good exit above all, above anything else, as this is a very long straight coming, so any time gained is massive. This next right-hander here is very tricky, especially on full fuel. It's very difficult, but you want to try go through there at full throttle, as it can gain you a lot of time. Now we went to the back straight. It's very long. The key, what you want to do is try to minimize your steering input, as you can scrub off a lot of speed if you doing too much steering input. Now we're heading into possibly I would say the heaviest braking zone on the game. You want to brake just before you need to, so you can get onto the power as early as possible, so it allows you to open up the corner and be allowed to hit the throttle about that split second earlier, which gains you a couple of kilometers at the end of the straight. Went to the final corner, if you want to call it that, and now we're on to the main straight. This has been a lap of Rouen, Essarts, I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I butchered it, but this has been Jazzman, and I'll see you guys on track.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that hot lap from Mr. Jazzman, and before we get to qualifying, which has just begun, we are going to go through the standings from last week. So obviously Papano won last week in the Squadra Demon team. He has 50 points to his name, and then we got Jasko in second place, and then we got Bodie in third place. I need to remember their PSN names. Then we've got Raxa in fourth place with 26 points. Fifth place we got Gaza in 23 points. Sixth place Big Kid Daddy. He had a pretty good result last time about in SIP. Then we got VSR Rotary, one of the first VSR guys, in 7th. Leonardo in 8th. Then we got Scold in 9th. Defino in 10th. Wolf was an interesting story from last week. He ran out of fuel last week, but he still managed to get to the end, so he's still classified. Then we have Vetro in 12th, Andy 13th, and basically it's just like your race results, and your only DNFers were Fogarty and Jazzman. Unfortunately, Jazzman has some technical issues. And the Teams Championship then, we got Squadra G-Man in the lead with 70 points, and we got Gaza and Raxa Racing in second, Motor Racing Team in third, Squadra Corsi Tori in Ferrati, I think I said that wrong, with 32 points, Visual Racing in fifth with 24 points, and we got Koseki Raging Bull Academy, what a name, 23 points, Shed Racing in seventh with 14 points, with HTP Motorsport yet to score. And without further ado, Evil, we are going to go straight to qualifying.
Indeed. Well, welcome everyone to the circuit. Welcome to what is, I know, as almost as narrow as the Nürburgring. Welcome to a circuit that hosts Formula 1 for quite a few years, and welcome to someone who's currently driving off the side of the circuit. So, yeah, getting out of the way. We're currently looking at Wolfman down into this tricky little hairpin right now, and you look at this circuit and you think, oh, maybe that's not so difficult. It looked very intriguing, very fast last sector, very fast first sector, and you've got this little leg, I suppose, in the middle. It's so some people might say it looks like some certain object, some people can say other things, but it's a very tricky circuit. Cobble streets line some of the corners. These giant curbstones, we'll see here, we'll go on board with our driver of Wolf, and we can see what's up for this corner here. That outside barrier, easily to snap a car. You clip that, you're going off into the wall. As you've seen already, damage and debris down the right side of the circuit. Someone already has gone off that. And that was Defino earlier on, just whilst we were doing that little section there. But the question is just, though, throughout this race, it's going to be about who's going to be consistent, who's not going to hit the wall. If you hit the wall, you're going to be in a big lot of trouble.
Exactly, and as we were saying earlier on as well, oh, what's happened to Wolf there? He was like stationary for a minute there. But as I was saying earlier on, Evil, they don't have to make pit stops unless they have damage. So the ones that don't have damage, they can go till the end of this race without having to pit. But the most crucial thing also about, as well as consistency, is the fuel saving, because obviously ideally they don't want to pit again for fuel. They want to make sure fuel can last to the end. Obviously quali, they can have quali fuel, but the race, they've got to do some calculations to make sure they can just have enough fuel to get to the end. Some of these drivers may not have experienced the filler leagues before, so it's something new for some of them. But like PSR Road 3, he has had experience, so he should be fine. But for some other people, it may be a lot difficult. There's quite a few new drivers to this tier, so should be a learning curve. But, you know, we have seen some drivers that have done well under pressure, so we'll have to wait and see, Evil.
Yeah, so far Ethan puts himself in 9th position, got damage on the front end I'm seeing on my screen at least. So everyone has set a lap time. Leonardo last to set a lap time there, not a competitive lap time might I add as well. He's weaving that is Scold, I believe, right behind him there in the good old shed. And let's see, the shed flies up the inside and there he goes. And Scott, who's hoping here to be doing extremely well. That car look very loose on the rear end. I was talking to him quite recently. He doesn't have as much grip as others might expect. However, it's a nimble little bugger, and hopefully you can see what he can do. It's, of course, the oldest car here. It's built in a shed, if you haven't known. He's a shed boy, so our old friend Jimmy might enjoy that one. But I always prefer that car. It's a purely little car, isn't it, Jess?
Yeah, I love it. Oh, as he's hitting the brake remarkable, there's people that are not going to like that whatsoever. And oh, it's nearly going to hit the... I think it's one is either Defino or Leonardo that's going to get past that. I'm not entirely sure who, but yeah, that was annoying. No, Leonardo. I was close, right team, but wrong driver. But there we go. But luckily, I think by the looks of it, he's absolutely fine. But we did see Jazzman set a good lap time in the hot lap, but we've already seen people beat that. Tinnis is on pole at the moment, 150.6, but the gaps behind that are starting to close up a little bit between first and potentially 7th place, all separated by a second. And I think it's Wolfman in 7th for I don't know which VSR guy is in 7th.
That'll be Wolf.
Yeah, that's Wolf. I thought so. I got it right. And yeah, quite a few people will probably want to get their toe in some of the straights, but this kind of reminds me of Monaco in a sense, where it is quite narrow to overtake, and some other bits. Also reminds me of Le Mans as well. In particular, this type of road as well. The roads in France are obviously quite similar as well, so I can understand why some roads are similar to Le Mans. But yeah, should be very interesting there. Esther is in the pits. Everybody's out right now. 7 minutes left to go of this session, and we'll just have to wait and see when the calm before the storm happens. If anyone can improve on their laps. Leonardo in 15th, 2 minutes 6. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's not showing his true pace yet. But he's getting a feel of the car because he's probably haven't driven in this track before. So apart from practice, of course. So yeah, hopefully he could do well here today.
I mean, well, even coming across the line, let's see can he get his car up the field so far. We're going on board with that onboard lap with one of the faster drivers and one of the leading VSR members right now, yet again being beaten by his younger protege, might I add. And hopefully, of course, this circuit very difficult. Ethan himself said he's not expecting to be doing well in qualifying. He might not even do qualifying, he said, because he doesn't want to be caught up in incidents behind him. He doesn't want to be caught in ahead of him. Right now, he's slap bang in the middle of the field, which is not where you want to be as anything. Right now, let's see. First sector is not valid yet, so unfortunately we can't see where he's coming, what time he's doing. But this uphill left hand, almost flat, a small lift off then for the cars, no touch to the brake pedal. The car wants to skate off to the right into that fence, got to hold it to the inside. Whether you don't got the car on the outside here, as I found out last night when I skated off there. A little bit of that, unfortunately, there on the car, so a shame we see that into this tricky corner. This is the difficult one. Go wide here, that barrier, you'll clip that, your car will be over and out. And as you've seen before, very easy. I think that might be Wolf potentially just a little bit up the road. No, I think that might be Scold. No, it's not Scold, so never mind. It was, I saw a car up the road and it's white, so it could be anyone really. But here comes Rotary down the back straight then. Never ending it is. It's almost 5-6 car lengths wide, so you can get a lot of cars down it. And it is Essar, I believe, that is actually in the other Janetta. Score with a one-place grid penalty, we believe, down the back. So it's not good. He's running a little bit too wide through the penultimate corner. Behind him, I might add, that is one of the Lamborghinis. I'm not sure who that is. Is it Parno? It is Parno right behind him then. So Lamborghini, again, looking strong here. Fogarty, meanwhile, down the back of the grid as now Leonardo goes up to 10th position.
Okay, so it is a calm before the storm pretty much, as people are going to go into the pit soon to get their last fuel load in, where some of the guys are just about to start their laps and probably going to go for their final runs now if they got enough fuel in. Of course, you can see quite a lot of traffic even going around this back straight. I'm guessing it's a popular time for them to go and set their laps. McWolf is probably going to get a tow from Big Kid Daddy, I think. I think that's the car right in front of him, so I don't think Big Kid Daddy is wanting that, so that's why he's weaving everywhere. But Wolfman is going to get it anyway. Big Kid Daddy's teammate is right behind Jasco.
No, it's the other way around.
Oh, it's the other way around. So Jasco's in front.
Big Kid Daddy's behind.
Oh my word. Almost. So Jasco's in front. Obviously, Jasco did very well last week, and then we also got Big Kid Daddy, who I was speaking to after the race. He was really impressed with his pace. He wasn't expecting to be where he was. I expect high things for him, and obviously that they're both looking good, scoring good points, and it's really helping them in the constructors. I'm just trying to find out where they are. So Squadra Demon, which was a bit. I don't know what teams they were on. Anyway, we've done a team video last week and we've already forgotten it. But never mind. As Wolfman is already coming towards traffic. He's not gonna like it one bit. The car behind up Big Kid Daddy is gonna like this. He's got a bit of clean air in front of him. But yeah, I driven a lap around this morning. Or it was last night actually. It was probably the most hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So it is really, really fast, especially around here. If you get it wrong, obviously as you're speaking earlier, then you would probably go into the wall. So I don't know how these drivers are going to feel when they set their faster laps right now. I think it's time to put the pressure on these drivers, Evil, as they're going to set their quick laps now with 3 minutes to go of the session.
Well, but still, a modern Wolf gets right to the wall there ahead of him. Jasco did touch that wall then, luckily, no damage. And we mentioned earlier on that curve down towards that one of those hairpins we just came through a minute ago. You clipped the outside there. That's where Skull went off, remember, earlier on. Hit that, what really isn't the brake marker point. It's more of just telling you when the next corner is. So, it's not too near where the braking zone is for some reason. But alas, Wolf getting a nice long toe off the back of Jasco here. So we'll see what his lap time can do. He's coming through the bottom of the circuit right now. Tricky braking zone here. Those couple of street cars, very easy to drag you out. Now, through that last corner, I was speaking to Vector and Ethan earlier on. The car will just seem to drag itself onto the grass. Of course, it's a little bit of a cambered corner to the outside. As there you can see Jasco, I think he's coming in the pit lane. Yes, he is. Wolf there has to get out of the way of it there. That might cost him a couple of attempts. Let's see, look. Does he get himself up the grid? No, he's 50 thousandths of a second down. Big Kid Daddy, look, does improve a little bit, I think, actually, and now puts himself ahead of Wolf. Further down the field, we've got Fogarty. He's put himself up to top position. Vector down in last position. The man who was shifted up to tier 2, he said he's feeling okay in the Ferrari, but he's considering changing it. But of course, he's only what is 1/10 off of the generic cars, which to me definitely looks like a good old Dodge Viper from the front, with the giant British flag on the side of it, proving it is British, of course. What's the line? Let's see what the Shed Boy can do. Puts himself 5 attempts up, puts him up to 12th position. His teammate, meanwhile, down in 14th position. Of course, Shed Racing not having the best of beginning of the season. Essa didn't do as well as he would have liked, and I think Skull did particularly well last week as well. However, it is a nimble car, it's quick, and in some situations it can be a very, very fast front-pacing car, as I think that might be Tinnis coming through then past Essa. It is up the hill. Like I said here, don't get the curb too much on the outside, because you get those curbs, you can go on the garage to get away. If you clip the curbs, then you're going round, and unfortunately there's not a lot you can do about that when you go off on this circuit, because, well, on one side you can see on the right it's banking and dirt and death. On the left side, well, on the right side it's fence, barrier, rebound, death. So it really funnels you in. Of course, down the main straight as well. And that's going to be the key thing. The drivers have been told if someone needs to pit, they have to flash the lights, because we'll go on board with Tinnis in a second. We've only got 43 seconds to go in the session. You know, really just see how wide it is here, and then just how narrow it really gets just down here.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you go down here towards this straight here. It's just hard to turn in just at the right time, because if you turn wrong, then you're going to lose so much speed. And speaking of cars, actually, we were speaking about this last week, Evil, but the Mercedes seems to be the faster car right now, as obviously we've got Tinnis in pole position right now. Obviously, last week we saw that the Lamborghini was quite fast, but I think this week we're going to probably see a change in a tune, which is good to see that we're seeing different cars each week be faster. But I can't remember if Boyrax is in a Mercedes, so we've got Mercedes 1-2 at the moment, so that is proving my theory quite right here. So the checkered flag has dropped, and I think Tinnis has just crossed the line. Am I right? I'm losing track of the line. No,
Tinnis has been on pole for a while, Jess, and I'm a bit of rear end stepping out there.
Oh,
and,
no, it's not the line. It's not the line. Okay.
Lamborghini, I might add, by the way. It's not a Mercedes 1-2. It's a Lamborghini 1-3 right now. Boyrax in second. It's a Mercedes 2 and 4 because Gaza is right behind. Then we've got the other Lamborghinis behind. Then everyone else is in the pit. So we've only got 3 drivers to set a lap time, and they're all together. Tinnis has backed off of his lap time, I believe that. Right now,
Gaza's
all down
out
between
though.
Gaza and Boyraxa, and Gaza getting a massive toe off his teammate right now. So these two working in tandem to try and get themselves up to pole position. Then, now if you get a toe around here, it's almost like the mod. It's almost like some of the other circuits. It's mega around this circuit. This last sector, incredible. He's up by just over a tenth of a second, was 2/10 up. So that should put him ahead of Jazzman. It should put him very close to his teammate. He's getting more and more at toe. This is crucial between these two drivers, working perfectly together. As long as he doesn't go too deep into the corner, which he does not, he should be able to get this last corner done. Now, this last corner, like I said earlier on, there are many corners, very difficult. Get too wide, you're off in the barrier. Get too shallow, you're off into the barrier. You have to do it perfectly. Watch out for people trying to overtake down there later on. But this should be a very good lap from Gaza. It might just put himself on second on the road because he's got a mega toe by his teammate. Where's it? Puts him third, just behind his teammate.
That is pretty good. You can tell that those teammates are working together, and Gaza and Rax are a very good partnership that is made for this tier, and hopefully they're going to keep this up as well. They're second in the team standings, 21 points behind Squadra Demon, so they've got not that far to catch up, really. So we've got Tinnis on pole position by 2/10 of a second to Boyraxa, but Gaza, you can see the toe has made a difference, really. 2 is about not that far behind his teammate, so that's pretty good between Boyraxa and Gaza. We got then Jazzman, and then we've got Jasco, then we got Big Kid Daddy, then Wolfman, Papano, Leonardo, and then Defino. And I'm trying to scroll down to the rest of the field. There we go. We got VSR Rotary in 11th, Scold 12th, Fogarty 13th, and I know Vetro was in Essa 14th, and Vetro down in last place, Evil.
Indeed, Vetro down to the back yet again, struggling in Tier 1, but hopefully, of course, every car has a silver lining, and hopefully he can jump up the field in due course. But right now, of course, remember, 11 laps ahead of the drivers. This is the sprint race, of course. Then comes that feature race later on, and we'll see what can happen down there. So, inside line is going to be crucial here. So watch out for Boyrax. The Mercedes, is very quick off the start. But remember, grid starts as well, Jess. Anything can happen, and we just hope that everything down towards terminal number 1 is going to be clean. Because the last couple of times I've seen this circuit, it hasn't ended too well. It ended just about okay last night in the evaluation race. However, 1 or 2 cars did have I'd say, quite a big accident. I might say I may have flicked once or twice. I can't drive that well, as it turns.
That's why you're in the commentary box.
That's why I have been dumped in the commentary box. Yes, indeed. Well, Wolf down there in 7th. His teammate down there in 11th. He's down the back of the grid as well, pretty much. And the only Mercedes next to him is going to be Fogarty. Then comes the 2 sheds. And then down the back comes the team from Maranello, who is going to be very disappointed, that is, I think, Enzo Ferrari being behind the shed boys. But it is Lamborghini's up front. It is the Mercedes in second. Then it's Mercedes, Lambo, Mercedes, then Lambo, then 2 Mercedes, and then 2 Ginettas, and then that Ferrari down the back. So a very much one of 2 halves then. The entire top, top 12, either Mercedes or Lamborghini. That is incredible. Then the rest of the field behind. But let's get ready then. 5 red lights are on, and then they're off. They're underway. Then it is a good start then immediately for Boyraxa, but then Tinnis immediately covers them off. They're down towards turn 1. But crucially, though, everyone's going to get away from the start. It seems correctly. Tinnis leads Boyraxa, leads Gaza. Is everyone going to become clean through turn 2? That is the question. but crucially low for Tennis. He's got away A-OK. The top 4 up, and there goes Tennis wide in the background there. 1 car on the curb, but then again, say that everyone clean though through turn 1, through turn 2. Jazzman on the curb on the outside, but no mistakes there as it comes down to the old hairpin.
That is good to see from these drivers. I mean, they've only got 11 laps to prove themselves, and the race is not over in lap 1 really, so they're driving a little bit more cautious, as we've seen quite a few people making moves off the start. Vetro has already made 2 positions already. He's up into 13th place. He could potentially lose 1 though, because Scold is pressuring him at the moment, and the 2 teammates from Chev Racing not doing very well at the moment. Essa down in last place, Scold down in 14th, so Retro got the best of him there in the Ferrari 488 team.
Indeed, well, by Raptor. Oh, Jazzman! Sorry, Tennis hit the wall. Tennis has gone into the wall. He's got damage. He's got cars up in the background. Debris kicking up everywhere. We've got 1 car off in the background. Huge drive in the background there. 1 car off. That has got to be Defino in the wall. It has to be. It is Defino in the wall. And we said how dangerous that was earlier on. He's hit the wall.
Ooh.
Tennis has got trouble as well. We've got Carnage in the middle of the pack as well, because I've got 1 car going slow as well, and I think that must be Papana in damage. It is Papana in damage as well. So and your race leader, crucially, in damage as well. And I think that must be rear suspension damage. Jazzman has a look up the inside, but crucially now for the 2 Mercedes, they lead 1 and 2.
Yep, they kept out of trouble there, avoided the carnage, and that's why they're 1 and 2 at the moment. But Tinners is probably going to have to go into the pit soon. Biggest gainers, Wolfman in 3rd place. At the moment, he could get Tinners soon, but we got a Big Kid Daddy having a really great start. He could be under pressure from Leonardo, who still might have a bit of a show.
Yeah, it has to be contact. There has to be contact.
Oh no!
They might both go in the wall. They're not careful. What's that behind for Ethan? He's going to just about get away with that. Yes, he is. Now, I said he can't really go side by side through turn 1, and that proves it there. Almost a monumental shot for the pair of them, and luckily they get away with it. And this is almost like a rodeo right now, and we always mention this circuit is not built for GT cars. It really is right now proving it's too narrow for these cars. Right now, it's there as well. That's a bit of lag there, and that's caught Fogarty out straight away, and he will not be happy with that one. Vector there around the outside, Fogarty giving him absolutely no room at all, almost saying, "Not going on the grass, my friend." Skulls put himself on the grass very clumsily behind that, trying to find a way through. But already, Defino and Papano, they are almost certainly out of this race. So is Tinnis as well, nearly. That is the worst start you can have for someone on the first real opening lap. And crucially, though, Gazza and Bayratta now can try and pull away. And the next car to him is Wolf. A stonking start for him. He's ahead of Jazzman. Behind them, we've got 1 car in the wall. That was Big Kid Daddy slapping the wall there. Another one in the background. That's Scold, I think, hitting the wall as well. Ethan there trying to close up on Leonardo. Meanwhile, that is a battle for 6 and 7. That Mercedes should blast past that Lamborghini down the straight, and surely it will. There we go, alongside. He's already ahead before we even get to the back of the corner, and now he's miles ahead. That Mercedes flying like a missile down the straight. Backwards we go, like we got 3 abreast.
Oh my god.
Vector in the middle, Fogarty up the inside. There's another car. That's always going to end in contact. And for poor old Big Kid Daddy, he was always going to get caught out, and that Scold might just try and pick up 1 or 2 positions out of that one. He's got Fogarty on the outside. Fogarty will not lift though. There'll be contact again if I'm not careful. Scold's forced wide, and this jet is getting a little bit clumsy down the back indeed right now in a circuit that is very demanding and very dangerous to try and overtake on.
Yeah, indeed. The tracks are very narrow, so it is hard to overtake, and they just got to take some risks. And some of these guys, the risks are working, and for some of these guys, the risks are not. And the ones that were in danger was our race winner from last week, our championship leader, Papano. And I was speaking to the drivers earlier on, and a lot of people were saying these 2 races, due to the fact that it's the format and also the track as well, could really shake up the championship a lot, and that's what we like to see, obviously, as commentators and spectators. But drivers, they want to go as high up in the grid as they possibly can, so Papano's not going to like that, but Bayratta and Gaza, they're going to like that whatsoever. It's going to help them in the team's championship, and it's going to help them in the drivers' championship as well. Tinnis is starting to make some ground at the moment. He's down in 13th, but I'm sure he can make up his way. Meanwhile, his teammate Jazzman is picking up the pieces a little bit. Jazzman obviously retired last week due to some issues, but he's hopefully going to score some points this week. He is looking good at the moment, and he's not going to get his nose in yet until he knows it's safe.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, Wolf so far doing a beautiful job. He's covering off Jazzman right now, and Jazzman is already looking at the back of him right now. Around the outside, he'll try and go into the last corner. That'll be brave around the outside because it's very easy. Wolf, I think, might have just locked a little bit too deep into the corner. He got away with it just about there. Behind low, Jasco sitting there, looking forward, looking for the car ahead. And then a big gap downwards. That's to Ethan and Leonardo. Then we got Vettrick, who's doing a good job in 8.
Oh,
I say that he
jinxed
goes
him.
off the road exactly when I was about to say he's doing well in 8. He's in the wall and off he goes down to 10th. And that's going to be a pit lane for him because that's got damage. And as per usual, Jess, whenever I say someone's doing well, they seem to go off, don't they?
Yeah, you do. We don't trust you either. Well, to be fair, in AOR, sometimes I do that, so it's probably just a you and me thing. They don't trust in the commentary box either. But anyway, not going to say much more about drivers doing well, because otherwise we'll get moments like Vetro did earlier on. So let's have a look at our race order then. Gaza, 6/10 clear of Boyrax down in front. Still running in tandem at the moment, and still looking quite good at the moment as the track is starting to brighten up a little bit and sunny at the moment. Wolf in 3rd place, and then we have got, I think it's Jazzman in 4th, and then Jasker in 5th, and we got Ethan in 6th place, Leonardo in 7th. That's where we're starting to see the gap starting to increase a little bit, with battles not really happening towards the back. So I think mainly we're going to focus between the top 6 drivers, as those guys are probably going to be the ones may still be in this fight.
Indeed. Meanwhile, behind them there is Jasko. He tapped the wall there as well, and that's very difficult. Well, that corner, might I say, is very difficult. I think that's turn 9, if I'm not mistaken, they're going off. So, it's tricky. That curb, you get too wide, you go on the curb, you're in the barrier. He might have got away with that one that time, though, of course, because it was a glancing blow, and we saw what happened earlier on with a few cars. They all spun around, and look at the gap down the back as well. It's already proving this is going to be a race of nutrition and attrition as well, might I add. Unless you're eating cake, which I might be doing later on. Who knows? It's my birthday, after all. So, meanwhile, Gaza and Boyraxter. Now, I'm wondering, is Boyraxter going to have a look here down towards turn 1? It'd be very silly if he would do so on his teammate. They'll end up taking each other off. I think surely he won't try and make a move here. He's no smarter than this. And yeah, he's definitely going to back off that one. A little bit too far back for that. It's another attempt. In normal circumstances, I'd say go for it. In this circuit, it's not really the overtake you want to be doing here, unless you're full commitment. And really, it's only going to be that penultimate corner you can make an overtake, Jess, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I would have done anyway if I was in their situation. But if you're confident you're going to make a move and do it well, you know who you're racing against, then go for it. Otherwise, just keep it safe and try and make sure you're matching the pace of the car behind. And we are noticing that Leonardo is in the pits again for some damage, and he's not going to like that whatsoever though, but he's going to get some fuel in the tank, so we know he's going to make it to the end of the race. Also, Evil, we got to keep an eye on fuel, especially in the feature race later on. That's going to be a huge factor when it comes to their calculations. Hopefully we won't see an incident what happened with Wolf last week, where he ran out of fuel, but they should be fine about that. Hopefully they'll see the errors of their ways pretty soon as well. Looks like everyone is doing fine on their fuel right now. We've got about 7 laps to go of this sprint race, and it's not over yet as the 2 leaders are still close, but you never know. If one of them spins, the guys up behind them could take advantage a bit, but looks like they are leaving no room for error, those two, and they're doing well. Oh my word, Boyraxa is really starting to put the pressure on Gaza, but Gaza, with the huge defense that he did, doesn't want his teammate to overtake him. So good job on Gaza there to hold on to that lead. I mean, Boyrax is going to try for a move once again. It's going to be very difficult. It is, yeah, he's too far back to do it at the moment. He's a few tenths down on his previous best, but still matching the pace a little bit. So yeah, you're probably right with the final corner being the one to overtake, but yeah, those two seem to be doing well with overtakes at the moment, as we've got people. Oh, Jasko!
Can he catch it? He's going round. He's going in the wall. Is he going to go in the wall? Just about clips it there. He must be careful. There is Ethan going around the outside. He must be careful he doesn't end up taking him out. And I think Ethan might have just had a brown pants moment then, and he will not enjoy that one. But now up to 5th, and that there was the rear end downforce going. Maybe the car bottomed out. Whatever happened, it did not go well. But right now, you know what you mentioned? Mercedes might go and run away with this race. Well, right now, Mercedes 1, 2, and 3. But then again, Jazzman is just sitting behind. He's just laying there, waiting. He's a pouncing tiger, of course, the man from Qatar. 29 years of age. And, of course, one of the more established AOR drivers, one of the higher-ranking members as well. Multiple different championships. He's currently leading the Endurance Championship by a stonking while because he's won every race so far. We're in round 4 or 5 now as well. Of course, he's your 2 previous champions. Boyraxer, last season's champion, Gaz up the season before. And the one before that would have been the Schmidt, and that, of course, would have been the car that Boyraxer is currently taking up. So that car, of course, is one of the last 4 Constructors' Championships in a row. And you've got to look slow to see. Is he going to have a look? Is he going to try and put a defence on his teammate? Is he going to try and force a mistake? Well, his only place he's going to do it, Jess, is going to be into that penultimate corner. Well, the third last corner, might I say, because this is the last corner, so it's second last corner. But never mind what I'm saying. But Boyraxer, he's just a little bit too far back. And right now, you can see on board with him, you can see just how defensive Gaza is going. He's just moving his car slightly, just in the middle of the circuit, because he knows you can't come through there. There's no way you're going to slip run up the inside unless Gaza makes a mistake, of course. And we're not saying Gaza won't make a mistake, but he might make a mistake, and that can always happen. Though I normally say that and someone else will immediately go off the road. And let's hope nothing happens there. We've got one retirement.
That's Fogarty. That's Fogarty
out yet again then. Second retirement in 2 races, and that is going to be surely not what you want to be looking for. I don't know what the issue is. Hopefully he can resolve it next week, but it's not really what you want to be doing at the beginning of the season, especially if you've got a championship fight to do. It's a difficult situation, of course. It's a narrow circuit, and of course you're going to make mistakes. And did you think it might have just caught him out, Jess?
Yeah, I think it might have. Imagine what it's going to be like when the drivers go to Côte d'Azur quite some time into the season. And for those of you that don't know, it's actually Monaco. And Monaco, I would say, is probably a lot worse in the GT3 cars than these. But at least they're getting one of the worst tracks for them out of the way. And they're trying to get a little bit of a feel, a little bit of a taster of what to expect in in Monte Carlo later on this season. As we're pretty much towards the end of this race, the home stretch for these guys with a few more laps to go, with 4 laps. As this could be Boyrax's chance, and he's got to make the move sooner or later. Is he going to try for the move? Oh, he almost did. But Gaza, he's just defending like crazy evil.
Yeah, he's getting too far back. Meanwhile,
Jazzman!
He spun the car, and I'm wondering, was that contact with the wall potentially? I'm not too sure. I just noticed the car going round, and now that is Jazzman, and he's in the wall, and he's out of the race, I think. He's retired already. So whatever has gone on there, he is out, and I'm not sure if there was contact or not, but now he's now allowed VSR 3rd and 4th, and that now means Mercedes are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Behind him, Jasko in 5th, he's having his own issues. I might add Skull's doing an incredible job in the shed right now in 6th. He's had a big kid daddy. Then it's battle between Essarts. Tinner's down there in 9th. Your championship leader, if I'm not mistaken, struggling behind one of the slower cars. He should be able to make a move here, and it'll be very brave if he does try and make a move here. He's going to have a look up the inside then. There's not nearly enough room. He'll get past, and of course, Tinner, he knows what he's doing, and I think he's got the speed there to get through. He does. Essa, a very established driver, he decides promptly he does not want to fire that one up the inside because he knows pretty well he can't go side by side through turn 1 unless you are very brave, might I add. But now the battle is only going to be between Gaza and Boyraxer, and that is first and second position. Behind him there is Wolf, then comes Ethan in 4th. And then we've got a bit of a gap down to Jaska, the first Lamborghini drivers. Right now, we mentioned this might be one of nutrition and attrition as well. So I keep saying nutrition today. I don't know, maybe I'm hungry. But attrition a race. And so far, Boyraxer 3 tenths behind. Again, though, not close enough. He needs to be about 2 tenths. He needs to be right with him, might I add. And right now he's there. I don't think he's close enough to have a dive up the inside. He'll end up taking his teammate off. But Gaza knows it. He moves ever so slightly before the break-ins, and I think Boyraxer right now might just sit behind him for the time being. Just try and pressurize him. Just play with him a little bit. I don't think he wants to try and launch one up the inside when they've got the constructors right now up for their leading grabs. Especially they've got 2 seconds behind. They do not want to give a victory to the likes of Wolf and Ethan behind. Of course, you can see there is Gaza. He covers that inside line. He's just blocking that at all. There is no way anyone is going to possibly come through up the inside down unless, of course, something terrible happens. And the terrible thing would normally be a one-car spiraling into the barrier. But, of course, Gaza, he knows what he's doing. Bayraktar established. These two World Championship drivers, these two top of their game. Top of the season, as per usual. We expect these drivers to have the best relationship. Right now, they're just playing with each other there. Meanwhile, we've got Tiernet. He's having a little go on Big Kid Danny. He's straight past him, meanwhile. So that's the battle for 6th and 7th. I think Big Kid Danny must have had a big mistake there, because I'm not sure how he would have got caught that quickly. Unless Tinnis is on a different planet right now, because he's flying. 154. He's 154. It's not the quickest Scold pit lane. Now,
damage.
That's for damage. It is for damage. Do you know what? I've said he was doing good earlier on. I'm going to stop saying people are doing
Evil.
good. He grasses there as Big Kid Daddy off the road nearly. You know what? Essa might get a good result from this, actually. He's going for 7th.
Evil.
Well,
you said bad things to Scold. You good things to Scold. You said good things to Vetro, and look what happened.
Well, never mind then. Well, meanwhile, first and second, still doing an okay job. 4 tenths between those two on that 9 of 11. Only battle outs going on the circuit is Vetro closing up to Leonardo, then so the Ferrari clutching up to the back of the Lamborghini then. And of course, 2 different engines, 2 different drivers, 2 very different cars. That is Pad versus Will right now. And Vetro, he's looking feisty right now, of course, as he lights up rear tyres just when I say he's looking feisty, of course. The prancing horse versus the Italian stallion car, of course. Vetro doesn't need to get past him because we believe that's a 10-second penalty for Leonardo because he sped in the pit lane earlier on. And that will be that, I think even Papano might have come out of Leonardo. So Vetro right now, he should be in 9th position. Remember, it's a top 8 that is reversed. So we're looking at Essa potentially being on pole position from Big Kid Daddy. And again, not really any opportunity to come through the inside there, Jess.
No, definitely not. I mean, some of these guys, if they want to get in position, if I was them, I'll probably try it either on the penultimate lap or the final lap. Essa's going to try and make the move now, but Big Kid Daddy was putting the same defensive moves to what Gaza was doing a few laps ago. So this kid means business. Let's see what Essa could do once he starts the next lap. As it's going to be very tight around here. Essa might try and look for it. Big Kid Daddy's left the door open. Now he shut it. He shut it now. He shut the door open, Evil. He doesn't want Essa to go past. And he's gone wide a little bit. That's probably given Essa Racing the opportunity. But no, not quite. Just a little bit too further back to make the move. But you can see it at the front, Evil. The gap is just closing in quite massively between Gaza and Bayraktar. This is going to be a very intense finish between the two of them. I could just see it closing in sector by sector right now. I can't wait.
He's really close, actually. You know, he's got a mega exit out of this lot. I think he might have a little look, you know, up the inside. He's got Leonardo, I think, Duffino up the road. Is he going to stay put? Is he going to stay back? He was 0 tenths there. He's under a 10th behind him. He's going to stay back for the time being. His guys have got the corner, though, but he has just about got the corner. A bit wide for him. And again, you can see the car pulling out to the outside, but again, that is not going to be any opportunity around the outside here. He can't pass down this first couple of corners, so he will just sit back again. He really needs poor old Gaza to make a mistake, and bless him if he does. He's done a flawless race, these 2 drivers, and if they end up in contact, that means Wolf, who is catching them, by the way, ever so slightly. He's only some under 3 seconds behind. They're all setting very, very, very familiar lap times, by the way. 53.0, 53.0, and then a 53.2. Ethan setting a 53.3, and then Jasko setting a 53.0 as well. So this top 5 all separated by under 3 tenths of a second per lap consistently is incredible. And again, on board we go with your driver, your championship, Rill, your defending champion against your defending champion. And again, no real opportunity to come through here. It's too narrow up this middle section because if you try and make a move, we saw it earlier on, you will end up in contact. Unless you have got a very, very good friend indeed to give you that room. And if they do, they're basically getting out of the way and saying, come through, my friend. Well, Bayraktar up top of the circuit, down towards the one of the, well, the second hairpin of the one, well, of the 2 we've got so far, might I say. Into this tricky little right-hander where we've seen Carl's go off earlier on. No mistakes there of these 2 drivers, though then again, a little bit wide for Gaza. And now let's see, though. If he gets a good exit through this corner, if he keeps a slipstream, he has to go for it. If who wants to win this race, he'll go for it. But the question is it team orders? Is he sitting back? Let's find out, because he's got to make a toe. Is he going to try it then on the inside?
Oh.
Gaza might have to cover it then. And here we go then. Is Gaza going to cover it? Is Boyraxa going to try it? Is he just going to sit back and have a little look? He is going to sit back then. So, team orders are in fact then. I thought they might be, because I don't think they want to take each other out. They're just sitting back. They're just playing the team game then. So, unless something terrible happens in this last corner, Gaza will win this race, and I would have loved it if these two battled it out, but unfortunately they will not. They're doing it for the championship. They're doing it so they don't end up taking each other out. Gaza comes across the line. He'll win the sprint race, then onto the feature race will go. Gaza wins then here in Rouen, ahead of his teammate then. A Boyraxa will finally get a podium then after the shambles of last week. Ethan as well, who's getting caught, might I say, by Jasko as well, will get a very fine and dandy 4th position as well out of that. Behind him there, Jasko with the fastest lap of this race. So, for 1:52.8. Then we got a big gap down to your championship leader, who will not be a championship leader after this one. It's Tinus, who had a rather disappointing mistake on the first lap. Couldn't get the car back going, had damage, had to make a stop. That's why he's so far down the field. He'll finish down in 6th position. Essarts, meanwhile, he did get 7th in the end of this. So,
Oh, good.
me not fully cursing him was a good thing. So, Shed at least gets himself off onto a good start. Big Kid Dally Laird down in 8th. Leonardo and Vectros has got himself a penalty there, I think, as well. I'm wondering how big of a penalty that is. 2 seconds. So he will finish down in 10th position either way. Is Proponent having a look up the inside there. Running very low on the fuel, might I say. He doesn't care if he doesn't throw himself off the circuit there. He really wants to get past Vectro right before the line. Vectro should just about hold that one. Indeed, he will. Around the outside, he tries, but it comes out across the line. And he'll just about hold that one there. But Vectro down in 10th. Leonardo in 11th for that penalty. Raining on Scold and Dafino, who is the last driver to cross the line. Scold here will finish down in 12th position. He's going to be disappointed after that mistake earlier on. And Dafino through the last corner. He will be all but last. Par the 2 that retired. Of course, that of Jazzman and Mr. C. Fogarty as well. And Dafino, well, he can just weave this car. He can warm the tyres up a little bit as he comes through the last corner. He did an okay job, of course, and not the result he would have hoped for down last position. He made that mistake on the first lap, and across the line he will come. And, well.
So there we go then, that's everyone that's finished, and I've just had confirmation, Evil, that Wolf and Jazzman did have contact earlier on in the race, and that's why Jazzman has retired, sadly. So that was very unfortunate. So they did have a come in together due to damage. But let's have a look at the race order. We have got Gaza in 1st place, Boyraxa in 2nd, and we got the 2 VSR boys in 3rd and 4th. So it's Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Then we got Jasko in 5th, Tinus 6th, Ezra 7th, Big Kid Daddy 7th, 8th, Papano 9th, Vetro 10th, Leonardo 11th, Scold 12th, Defino 13th, and your 2 retirement, Jazzman and Fogarty. And unfortunately, the reason why Fogarty retired was his brake pedal has been playing up as well. So he is having issues with his brake pedal. So hopefully it gets fixed in time for the race, the feature race, which is a 40-minute race, of course, where the top 8 will get reversed. But he'll be starting in last place. And we will have a 5-minute... the drivers will be having a 5-minute interlude whilst the host and Jazzman set up the lobby for the next race. So this is going to be a new experience for these GT3 drivers. I wonder how they're going to handle it, Evil.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to find out, of course. Anything can happen in a 40-minute reverse, top 8 as well. Will there be carnage like there was as well? Remember, it is a rolling start, so you're always going to look out for the drivers who's making mistakes. And then again, we've got to look at it. It's going to be very difficult to get themselves into position. Tight, narrow, reverse grid. Most likely it's only the top 8, it's not the entire grid order, because otherwise I feel that might be a lot of carnage. But we saw, though, how big of a gap some of the drivers there is. Vetro is left the session there for whatever reason. I think maybe just so he can get rid of some saved data so we can save the replay. As Jazzman has disconnected from the server there. And I've disconnected as well. Oh dear.
everyone's disconnecting. I've just seen Evil Dragon disconnect, Jasmine disconnect. Hopefully won't have a mass disconnect, Evil. That will just be really bad. I mean, you know. But anyway, so as it stands in the championship in terms of the teams, looks like Gaza and Maxa Racing are leading the team standings after their 1-2 in this race. I'm not sure who's in second though, because obviously we got Papano who scored quite low down. Obviously Big Kid Daddy as well, who is also his teammate. He was in, I think, 7th. So I don't know. It could be close between the team standings more than the drivers, I think. But we'll have to wait and see on that one, as we just given confirmation that we are going to stay in this lobby. And I don't think I can invite you, Evil, unless I can. I don't know how I can invite you at the moment, but hopefully you can be invited. Let us know in the chat. Pardon, sorry?
My good old friend Vectory's got me covered, I think. He sent me an invite, so he's got me back in whilst I invite him back to the party that I'm in. Because so they can talk to the other 2 drivers that are in that chat. But then again, always good. Like, I can always spy on what the drivers are doing sometimes as well, whilst I get back in the...
That is good, isn't it? You're kind of like a Jeff, but kind of not like a Jeff. I don't know what... you're like you're a pit lane reporter, that's it. Ted Kravitz.
I'm being a Ted for a temporary reason there. Well, meanwhile, let's see what they can do, as I'm going to quickly grab myself a drink.
Okay, whilst you do that, I'll just have a quick rundown of what's been going to go on for the 40-minute session then. Now, this is going to happen for the remainder of this race. Then, obviously, the Essarts will be starting on pole position, followed by Big Kid Daddy. And everyone else from 9th downwards, though, they will be starting, obviously, from where they finished, but the top 8 will be reversed down there. And the AOR rolling start that you've been seeing last week, you'll be seeing that in the feature race. The feature race will be 23 racing laps, so almost double to what it was. Well, it is pretty much double, because obviously the sprint race was 20 minutes and the feature race is about 40 minutes, so they had to work out how many laps they were going to do right now. So yeah, it should be interesting there. Now, interestingly to see that the 2 drivers that retired last week were the same drivers that retired this week, but not for different reasons though. But I'm always noticing that Fogarty is having some technical issues as of late, but I just, you know, it's going to be hard to get it fixed, even if he does, because obviously if you send it to get it repaired, we don't know what the situation would be due to the coronavirus outbreak. So, you know, he probably has to stick to it at the moment. So we'll just have to find out that one. But kind of like technical issues is kind of like engine issues in real life. And I can't remember if mechanical damage is on as well. I can't remember, but I don't think it is. But actually, no, it might be. But it's kind of disconnect is kind of like reliability issue really for the drivers. So hopefully we won't get that today. And this is also a chance for the drivers to, as well as Evil, get a cup of tea or drink or whatever. If they have teammates, speak to their team, find out what went well, what went wrong in the race ahead, the race just gone, and see what they can improve for the next race, because the next race is going to be, the race isn't coming ahead. It's going to be a little bit more testing, because obviously you got to make less mistakes, but you have more of a chance to get back in it if you got damaged. There is no mandatory pit stop like there was in the last race as well. So if there's no pit stops, if they don't have to make any pit stops, then they got to keep damage to a minimum. But again, it's very hard on the circuit. But surely the ones that have had damage in the first race, they're probably going to tone it down a bit for the next race, and they know what to do to improve for the next race. Fingers crossed, because they know what to experience. But they did experience a practice race last night, but obviously they had a feeling of what the lobby was going to be like today as well. So maybe this race will be a little bit more settled, but we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And the birthday boy is back, I believe, aren't you, Evil?
Yes, I've just disconnected yet again from the server.
Ah.
I just can't get into it right now. I think Jazzman might have broken it slightly.
Yeah, because he left as well, I think.
Yeah,
and he was the one who invited us, so... Yeah, because if Evil can't join, we're not gonna have all I'm just gonna see is follow one driver and not gonna follow anything else really, which is not gonna be helpful. But I think these are the lobbies where if there's no director, then the lobby can't start. So Evil will have to join sooner or later. So we're in the process of getting that sorted for you soon. I don't think I can invite you because I'm not in any party or anything. So.
Ethan's inviting me there, so thank you to him.
That's good. That is good. Is Jazz... I think Jazzman is in the lobby as well, isn't he?
No, Jazzman has retired from the evening. He is not happy, and fortunately, it seems to have taken me with him for some reason, because I can't get into the server.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened there. We seem to always have technical issues at some bit of the season for PS4. And it always has to happen at round 2. So we might have to have a lobby restart to get the likes of Evil and possibly Fogarty in as well, because I don't think Fogarty's in either. Oh, no, I do not want... Actually, I can invite. Let me see. I can actually invite you, Evil, so I'll try and send you a spare invite so I can I didn't know that I could invite you, but I can invite you, so I will do that for you. I'll actually send you a few invites actually, and I forgot.
There we go.
I forgot how I actually invited you. Aha, there we go. So I'll just press a random button on the PS4 and it just comes up really. So yeah, I'll send you another backup invite as well. There we go. So 2 invites sent for you, Evil. And we should be getting started shortly, Evil. And hopefully no internet issues. But if we see a disconnect from either one of us, then you'll know why. So are you in, Evil?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. That is good to see. And it seems like you're keen to get this race underway. I'm sure... I think. Do we have everyone? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
5.
we're missing.
We're missing Jazzman, but he's retiring for the night. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh,
there's Vectra. He's got back in then. So
yeah,
Vectra, that's the one you were missing. And Fogarty, I think, is the other one. Fogarty's here. So yeah, we may have one driver missing, wasn't we? Because one did show. I'm not sure who that is, unfortunately. But
let me look at the standings. It's probably. I think it's Jazzman's teammate.
That's Tinnis.
Oh no, that's not Tinnis. Andy, that's it. Andy's not here tonight. Andy's not here.
Is not here. We do apologise, by the way, for technical issues. Sometimes they can happen, unfortunately, and as sad as it is, that is the facts of servers.
Especially due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, they are being overloaded, unfortunately, and I must say, and
stay safe.
Yeah.
And stay home. Honestly, if your country is locked down, then please stay at home. Just please. You're going to help the healthcare system so much. And if you are staying at home throughout this and just getting your exercise, then you're helping so much. And we're all going to get through this together. And esports is definitely helping us get through it. So good on esports, Evil. Am I right? Evil?
Indeed, is your mic just blipped out on my end temporarily there, but you are back right now. But so Jazzman is not racing, we are believing, after that mistake there. So I haven't seen it, unfortunately, so I don't know exactly what was the cause of it. Of course, we now just wait a little bit until we find out when the race is going. So we have been given the rundown then of the grid and the order as it stands. Bicky Daddy, Esther, Tinus, Jasco, VSR Rotary, VSR Wolf. Then we've got Byraxer. Then we've got Gaza, Rapano, Vetra, Leonardo, Scoldafino, and then Fogarty down that back. Of course, one driver, well, two drivers now missing. We are now missing, unfortunately, Andy, and then we are also missing the likes of Mr. Andy as well, who unfortunately for whatever reason could not show up today. But as harsh as it can sound though, for Jasmine, he practiced for a lot of time for just one mistake, and when you make a mistake like that, as unfortunate it is, and I'm not in a position to say it, but you just don't quit. You've got to keep trying it. You've got to keep pushing. Even if someone has a mistake, it's another race to come. You can still get points out of it. It wasn't the end of the world. You just got to move on, I suppose. Unfortunately, for Jazzman, because we don't know what exactly was the incident, we only saw the end of it, Jazz, and hopefully he can get back in for next race after this one.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed about that one. And yes, I do agree. Because obviously Tennis had a moment at the start of the race, but he didn't quit. He just continued, and he still got some decent points out of it, which was very great to see. So he was a comeback driver, I would say. Probably not a position he would have liked, but still that's going to help in the team's helping out his teammate anyway. So just fair play to Tennis for keeping his dream alive. And obviously he is a champion. He doesn't want to just quit for no reason, and he just wants to keep going, because the more you're on the track, the more you're actually going to improve. You're going to think, right, what am I going to do to approach the corner better maybe, or battle better, or something like that. So we'll have to find out on that one, as obviously we are just about to load into the session, which is good news. And yes, we are. That is great to see. All 14 cars on the grid then. Obviously, they're not in the order that they're going to be racing in to start their formation lap, so they're gonna let the cars aside, and obviously Essa will be starting on pole, so they'll be letting him through, and he'll be leading the field away, and it'll be just like what you seen last week at the start of the race in Catalonia, where they'll be going in a single file formation for a little bit, then a 2x2 formation, and then obviously when they get to the acceleration point, that's when they can really floor it. But I haven't asked you much about this, Evil, but who would you say is favourite to possibly take victory?
Now, this is going to be interesting. I don't know who's going to be. I mean, you've got to look, Gaz is only there in 5th. So he's, he'll be starting down in 8th. So it's always going to be a possibility for him to come back through and win this race. It's not going to be the question, though, can he win? It's will he not crash? It's going to be the more important question, of course, because it's narrow, it's tight, twisty, technical, anything can happen, and it usually does happen around the circuit. Remember, they will not need to pit in this race. They should fill their cars up perfectly. Of course, they will only pit if they all get damaged, and let's hope there is no incident there. Up Skull front gets a little bit of clean air in front of him for what is going to be a back 0.1 of a second, because as soon as the lights go off, he'll have to slot himself back down the back of the grid.
Yep, exactly, and it's just a few more moments before we can get underway again, and right on cue, there we go. So the drivers are going to ignore the 5 lights, they're going to wait for 5 seconds, and let's see if everyone is going to follow on cue. There might be a few people that forget it. Here we go, those are green lights.
Oh, Leonardo did.
No, they're moving out the way, Evil, they're moving out the way. It is quite hard to move out the way straight away, so we're already seeing the people that are going to be starting lower down already making their way through, as Big Kid Daddy is almost in position. He's just waiting for Esther to get past, so he's just gonna wait just a little bit there. I don't know where Esther's gone. Yep, he's climbing his way up. That is good, that is good. There's his teammate Scold in the grass there, but there we go. So everyone's starting to make their way past, and yeah, I think for most part we are in formation for the top 3. And I think Defino is meant to be... No, he's not meant to be starting last, as Fogarty obviously retired last race, so he'll be starting last. But yeah, it is a bit more hazier than obviously the last race. So very different conditions, very different types of racing we're going to see due to the fact that the visibility has been decreased a little bit. So a lot more to watch out for. Braking zones will probably, the seconds that they need to brake will be increased a little bit. So definitely a lot to watch out for in this race, Evil, due to those changing conditions.
Yeah, this is the conditions that a lot of the drivers have been practicing in. And talking to Lewis, he was incredibly quick, actually. He was practicing in these types of conditions. So hopefully for him, he can really come through this field. But he's starting down there in 12th, Jess. It's not where you want to be starting because you're behind the top group. And really, Essarts right now, he's the one, if Skull's doing really well in the Ginetta in this type of conditions, Essarts could have a real chance because Daddy was under pressure, remember, from Essarts last race. And in fact, I was pretty certain, almost got past him and unfortunately made a mistake right at the end. Then we got Tinnis. And I think Tinnis here is, without question, is going to be the man who, if unless something goes wrong, will win this race. Because he's been quick. He was almost leading the race earlier on before that carnage happened on. And now he can only try and come back through. As long as he doesn't end up spinning himself on those curbs. Of course, then he got back. We got Essarts, Wolf, and Ethan in the reverse order of what I just said. Byraxa, Gaza, Papano, Vectra, Leonardo. Then we got Skull, Defino, and then Carl Fogarty. Not based on the motorbike driver at all. I don't know what you're on about there, but he is now forever known as Carl Fogarty to me. Even though I'm pretty certain his name isn't Carl Fogarty. Well, let's get ready for those 2x2s then. Noah's Ark formations, I always used to call it, and Vicky Daddy. Who knows what happened after this race, of course. Jazzman, will he return next week? We hope so. Never say never. Yeah, you will often say. But
we hope he doesn't retire, Evil.
Yeah, we definitely do not want anyone to retire, especially when you're the card. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But, let's see. Will this go well? Will this turn into shambles? We've got 14 drivers. We're missing one more. Well, technically missing 2 than we we're meant to start with, but we're down to 14, that's okay. We've still got more than needed to make this an entertaining little race. So, Big Kid Daddy on the right, Essarts on the left, Tinnis, then comes Jasco, then comes the 2 Mercedes, then comes the other 2 Mercedes, then comes Papano and Vetra. The top 10 rounded off by Vetra. Let's get ready to go then, Jess, here for round 2 then, the second race of the second attempt. Will it be their third Grand Prix and will it be their last? Because we are underway then. It's a start immediately from Big Kid Daddy. Good start from Tinnis. Bad start from Essarts then. Has it gone through turn 1? Is it clean though through turn 1? The answer to that is going to be just about a resounding yes. And no mistakes down the back. Everyone clean as a whistle then. They go through turn 2 then. Down they come towards the hairpin. And crucially though, Big Kid Daddy is leading this group away then from Tinnis. Then comes Essarts. Then comes Jasco. Then comes those 4 Mercedes then. But no one making a mistake, Jess, at the beginning of this race.
Just like last race, and then we saw mistakes pretty much a few moments on. As always starting to see a bit of people going for very risky moves as Vetro has been caught up by Defino. Leonardo, not Defino. Defino is right at the back, almost with Fogarty. But yeah, Vetro is one of those guys that just wants to get moves done early on in the race. But these guys have got to forget, this race is longer than the first race. They can't take too much risk. The race is not over in the first lap, so they just got to wait just a little bit. But most of these guys are coping quite well as we've got Gaza, who is still in 8th place right now, so I guess he's going to keep out of trouble for just a little bit while longer. He doesn't want to go for aggressive moves as of yet. Still got some good points in the first race, so if he doesn't get that amount of points in this race, it won't be too bad for him, but I'm surely he wants to get some points this race, as do most of these drivers. And for some of these guys, Evil, it is redemption really, isn't it? Some of these guys need to have a good race here.
Yeah, they very much do. Meanwhile, Ethan, I think, was having a little look there, or is Jasco having a little look now on Essarts? Well, he was having a look at Essarts. Ethan was looking good, pulled back. But look at the top 2. Tinnis already now trying to challenge down Big Kid Daddy. We know Tinnis has got a lot less downforce than Big Kid Daddy, so in terms of straight line speed, what Big Kid Daddy really needs to do right now for the next 40 minutes or the next 23 laps is just cover the inside line, just not allow any opportunity for him to come through. If you do that, you're not coming through. Jasco, meanwhile, I thought for a second might have been having a look up the inside of Essarts, as then comes this line of Mercedes then. Gazzy will drop back left from the likes of Byraxa there, so he's dropped back ever so slightly. So whatever's going on there. Down the pit back, meanwhile, we've got Vectro in the pit lane then for damage yet again then. So whatever's happened down the back, we're not too certain there because we were looking at the front group. But Essarts, third position, he's behind Tinus. And then we have got that battle between Jasko. Then comes the 4 Mercedes drivers, now being joined by Parno, who just got punted, I think, by Leonardo slightly there. That car definitely jolted very suddenly from Parno. No damage, I think, would have been done to him. Behind there, Scold in 11th. And already, we mentioned it, Jess, this can immediately become very processional. The gaps will definitely fold out. But behind them, they're all just stuck behind Essarts right now. He's rather the caught in the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, Essarts doing well to keep those cars behind, but if he doesn't get a move on, then the people behind are going to take advantage. And to be honest, Jasko will need to make the move done, possibly at the penultimate corner, not probably before. But due to the fact that the Mercedes have good better straight line speed than the Ginetta. Here he goes.
There goes Jasko around the outside on board of Ethan. This will be a nice on board. You know what? I think Ethan really wants to have a come and little.
Oh, it's 3 wide.
Okay. It won't be 3 wide just about because that Lamborghini's got legs, of course, but the cork in the bottle's been popped. And now here goes Ethan there, a little look up the inside. Just going a little bit skatey there. Ethan managed to get the car stopped, like, up the inside of the Ginetta. Up front, meanwhile, Big Kid Daddy now under pressure and passed by your championship leader, or was to be championship leader. Maybe you'll still be championship leader after this one. There goes Timmins into the lead of this race, and Big Kid Daddy in second. Jasko now ahead of Ethan in third, fourth. Essarts now dropped down to 7th. So I mentioned the cork in the bottle, and the bottle's been broken, shattered on the floor, and glass has flown everywhere because it's going downhill very suddenly. He's dropped 1, 2, 3, 4 positions in the space of what? 1 corner. As in comes Leonardo into the pit lane for damage, we believe.
Yep, I think so, but quite a quick pit stop from Leonardo so he can get back into this race pretty quickly as well. I think Vectro is the other guy that obviously pitted earlier. Everybody else hasn't yet to pit, obviously, because they don't need to pit, because for those people that just joined us, for these type of races, which is going to be happening tonight, obviously at Rouen Les Essarts, which is the track we are currently, and also in the Nürburgring, which is going to happen on the 29th of April, is where we're going to see most of these guys really going to full fruition, and they don't have to make any pit stops. So that is why that they've got to keep their fuel check, because most of these guys, I think, have put double the amount of fuel they would have intended to anyway. And you can see the top 3 are really starting to bring it home, to be honest. As we can see, Jasko is really starting to pull away from the VSR boys.
Indeed, we get this incredible shot here. Meanwhile, Gaza, I might just mention, now behind Essarts. Well, he's not going to be for long because he's now pulling alongside, and now he's pulling ahead. You know what? I think Papano might have a look as well. Let's see. Is Papano going on the inside on the brakes? He is. Is he going to go and get that car stopped, though, is the question. Just about. Is Essarts going to be able to cut back? No, he's not. That's incredible good braking there from the Lamborghini. It just looks to me right now that the poor old shed just... It's so light, it just stops too quickly, and they're catching each other out for some reason, because Essarts and Skull dropping down the field. And I do think they might be changing cars sooner or later, because their pace is just not there. Vector, unfortunately, damage. We don't know what his pace in the Ferrari would be. Fogarty, meanwhile, with a lot of damage. I'm seeing, is that a pit lane for him, or is that, yeah, that's going to be damage for a pit stop, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Is he coming in? He is coming in then for damage, and that is the second time he's got damage in a short amount of time. And unfortunately for him, that isn't what he wants to be doing yet again. We believe his steering wheel or pedals, what you said,
brake pedals.
So having a BBY failure potentially. Skull in 10th position, behind that Defino in 11th. Big gap meanwhile up front. We've got now Ethan, Wolf, Gaza, Rapano, Essarts, Scold, Defino, and then that is down to there, so it's 4th down to 11th, all separated by what? 5 seconds?
Oh my word, they're quite close indeed, to be honest, and it's starting to get a bit more processional. Oh, getting my words wrong tonight, Yvonne, I don't like it, but anyway, Ethan is leading that train ahead of his teammate, Wolfman. Obviously, 2 VSR boys doing well in the last race. Hopefully, they're going to continue that this race, as Wolfman is being challenged by Boyraxer behind, but as we know from last season and obviously from the last race, Boyraxer is a quick little puppy, as he's got some great straight line speed going towards that penultimate corner. He's going to try and have a look around the inside. There he goes. Actually, no, he doesn't go around the inside. There's Wolfman defends to the inside. I don't think Boy Rax is going to have a go. Meanwhile, we got Big Kid Daddy and Jasko running in tandem for position. Looking quite good, the pair of them at the moment, as Jasko's going to try and get for a move at a start-finish straight. It's going to be risky if they do it, because it's going to be narrow. A little bit squirmy.
He's alright, he's going to be on the grass. He is on the grass, and Big Kid Daddy, teammate no favours in the background there. As, luckily, doesn't end up going backwards there. If they were side by side there, I think Jasko might be having a few bad words to say there to Big Kid Daddy if they had contact there. Luckily, they managed to get away with that one. Rotary there ahead of Wolf. Borax is still having a little look. He wants to get past. Defino as... Oh, Defino off the circuit. Where's Papano gone? I'm running. There's where Papano's gone. Off the road. Might I add that. Is now... Oh, Defino getting himself caught up in the Ginettas there. And he must be careful instead of hitting one of the Ginettas. They go and try around the outside. You'll be squeezed off, my friend there. I'll be brave around the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't quite do it. Let's go. Optimistic. Not quite going to work there, unfortunately. He tried to get alongside, just couldn't get the grip into the corner. We are on lap 6 of 23. That meaning somewhat 16 and a bit laps to go, give or take a few minor dinks in the telemonitory. But Ethan, Wolf, Borax and Gazel, that is the battle there for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Titus right now running away with the win. So far, he's got a 4-second lead and is very much a man on a mission. Big Kid Daddy ahead of Jasko as well, those two drivers. The two teammates, and I think right now Big Kid Daddy ought to be trying to get himself out of the way of Jasko. Jasko going almost a second a lap quicker than him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jasko has impressed me so far this season. He didn't have a not a bad race last time in the sprint race, obviously, and he's doing pretty well in the feature race. He's keeping it clean, he's keeping his nose clean, and he's helping Big Kid Daddy as well, and trying to go for moves when he sees their space. I mean, he had a really...
He's having a little look up the inside. He's being pesky there. Has a little look for the inside just to show his nose. Meanwhile, Borax has got Wolf. Wolf will have to back off here. Inside there, he has to back off. He does back off then. Borax then a good move up the inside. Wolf has to force himself out of a move. And that is one of the few ways you make a move for turn 1 then there, Jess. You have to really be alongside and more than just alongside, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, turn 1, if you go for a move, you really got to commit. And these guys did commit there. And Boy Raxa just goes to show how speedy he is into turn 1. I think Boy Raxa is one of those people, if you make a move through turn 1, he makes it work. So Boy Raxa, another one to watch out for in this race if he keeps it up. So far, no penalties given to the drivers, so they're understanding the track a bit more, they're understanding the rhythm of the track a bit more. And speaking of that, Wolf has gone into the grass, so probably we might get a penalty soon. I probably just jinxed that there, and as you were saying about commentators' curses, I just probably jinxed Wolf there as well.
Looking there, we've got one driver out of this race. I'm trying to figure out who that is down the back. It's Papano, yeah, it's Papano who's out of this race there. So he was the one who's spotting backwards down through turn 2 and 3, and he is now retired from the server. So unfortunately, it's now to 13 drivers right now. By Rapsa having a look at Ethan. If I was Ethan right now, is it worth fighting him? Let's see down the straight. I think he's got alongside him already. And let's see, does he manage to get the car stopped? Ethan, we know, is very brave. Wolf might have a look up the inside actually as well. And Wolf actually gets his teammate right now, but he wants too deep. And these two drivers, they do not want to come to blows. The VSR drivers then side by side. This is the last corner. Wolf on the outside, Ethan on the inside. Wolf backs out of it there. They've got, I believe, pure conversation between the two drivers.
They're giving it their all, aren't they? I mean, Wolf is trying his best. I mean, surely Wolf was getting a bit close there, and that almost would have ended in a shunt, but luckily it didn't. As Ethan went into the grass there, he's made a mistake as well. So maybe the setup may not be designed well for the long races, but that's going to allow Wolf to catch up again, and you can see who's behind as well. Very, very crucial. It's Gaza who is behind the two BSR boys, and obviously he won the last race, so a major threat for the two of them right now. So I hope these guys could try and stay clear of Gaza soon, because otherwise they are going to be in trouble then, as Petro not having a good race either. He's down in 13th right now, but he is still going and still going to go strong. So the more he races, the more he improves. So I'm guessing he's going to learn quite a lot from these two races, I would have think. So I'm guessing he's just tinkering with his setup a little bit.
Yeah, he's trying. Meanwhile, the only real battle going on is this one for 5th, 6th and 7th. I'm currently listening into their radio conversations right now, which is sneaky of me. So hopefully you can't, no, it's not picking it up on the stream at all, but
no, it's not, because I'm not in it.
So I'm just listening closely to what they're saying, and I'm enjoying it right now. As I think trying to get past Ethan right now. I think he's got quicker pace. He's really getting, I think he's getting a bit frustrated right now behind Ethan. He's quicker, it seems. He's taking a 10th or 2 out, and now Gaza really looking at him. That is, Gaza close enough now. He's a little too far back right now, but those Mercedes starting to struggle in this race. And again, it's a switch completely from last race, just because it was Mercedes winning last race. Now it's Lamborghini 1, 2, 3 this time.
Ah, so maybe our predictions of Mercedes being the fastest car around here may be not too prominent, but maybe it might be due to the conditions. I don't know. Maybe the Lambo is suited to these hazy conditions more than the Mercedes. I don't know. Or maybe they're a bit more comfortable on the track. And there's Wolf. There's Wolf that's got damage. That has hurt him quite a lot.
4 aero damage we're hearing there, Wolf. So not too bad damage then there. So sneaky boy listening into the radio conversation. He's got dirty air behind Ethan. Dropped the car then on the curb. We saw the rear end stepping out.
So that is not good for Wolf whatsoever. So I assume they'll be going into the pits, won't they?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, they're just going to run. Oh, okay, they're still managing to keep it together, but they got Gaza catching up soon as well. So they're going to lose so much time if Wolf pits. So I'm guessing they will be staying out due to that. But, you know, I'm guessing they still will get good points at the end of the day. So as long as the other guys behind don't catch up, they should be fine.
Indeed. Well, let's find out, of course, later on. But right now, Gaza doing an okay job right now, trying to close up to the back of Wolf, and let's see if he can come through.
He is looking very speedy right now, going towards the penultimate corner. Evil, he's gonna try and go for the lunge, doesn't quite do it at this stage. A bit caution at the moment. We've got Ethan as well covering his teammate. Good team work from the VSR boys to keep Gaza behind, but how long is Ethan going to keep Wolf in tandem? I don't know, but Gaza's going to possibly try for the lunge here, maybe. Maybe it's not.
Moves it slightly lower. Those two are working together there just to give each other as much toe as possible. Ethan very much on the curb there. I think got away with it though. Yes, he did. Jasco, meanwhile, still closing up to Big Kid Daddy. Those two battling away for lapses. Further down the field, we've got Skull trying to close up to Essa in the battle between the two sheds. And one shed a little bit wide there, and the other shed trying to come through. Let's see around the outside, and Skull around the outside there as Essa decides to back off of that one. And what we go then, again with the driver of Gaza, stuck behind the man from Essex, and then the man from up and very close to us in the old Swindon man, indeed, of Ethan. So those two drivers, both teammates, both very good friends, both 18, 19 years old, nearly 20 I think for one of two of them, but I'm not too certain exactly of their age sometimes, but neither mind my brain forgetting ages. Gaza, he's sitting back, he's just relaxing, he's wanting to come through, he's got the pace right now, but he's just sitting back, he's just minding his time. He doesn't seem to have very much a lot of downforce jets right now, does he?
Nope, he doesn't. I thought Gaza was going to breeze past Wolfman like no tomorrow, but looking at how Gaza is controlling the car, he's not. So I'm guessing Wolf did the right thing for staying out, and that's really going to help him. And, you know, we did see Gaza and Boyraxa working together as teams earlier on, and we're seeing exactly the same thing between the two VSR boys, but a bit more closely this time, helping each other out in times of need. But the one disadvantage Ethan will have that though is he's not able to catch to Boyraxa. But the main focus I think for them, because they want to get some good points in the constructors more than anything. So teamwork, I think, is essential.
Indeed, very much.
And you need to turn
right
your
now.
TV down.
Understood.
Thank you. You can carry on now.
Well, like I said, teamwork is crucial. As long as they don't end up throwing each other off the road, that is the crucial thing. But right now, Ethan had a wolf. Hands about all that. Jasco by stuck behind Big Kid Daddy, meanwhile up front. Very much a race of two halves. Very processional as well. There is not a lot of action going on, Jess, is there?
No, there's not. And I think that is what we've seen for the last part of the sprint race as well, apart from obviously the top two. And I think we're seeing the midfield really starts to battle, whereas everybody else is pretty much running their own race and hopefully to get to the end. But sometimes in these type of races, Evil, you get races like that and you just got to live with it. And sometimes for people like Tinnis, you got to just take it in your stride.
Indeed. Tinnis running away with it up front. He leads this race. 6.9 seconds, almost 7 seconds to the dot ahead of the car behind. Big Kid Daddy ahead of Jasco right now, doing an incredible job in second and third. The two Italian, the Vodafone livery team, doing an incredible job. As long as they don't end up cross-throwing each other for over, they almost did earlier on today when they were both sideways on the grass. Behind them by Essarts, trying to close up there. 53 is them is a second a lap slower than the driver ahead of Jasper, who's setting 52. He's the quickest man on the circuit. Then we've got these Gaggle and Mercedes there, Wolf, Gaza, and Ethan. Defino ahead of Scald, who's now ahead of Esser after he got let through earlier on. Leonardo in 11th, Fogarty down in 12th, Vectro a disappointing 13th, and this is a circuit that I did really think Vectro was going to be too come flat. It's a very narrow circuit for a controller, and it's proving as well because Scald is also not really where you would expect him to be either, is he?
No, but sometimes you just got to live with it really, and they got to keep going as much as possible because you never know what might happen. And there's certain tracks that Scald Vectro might get used to a bit more in the calendar, so they're going to hope that they'll do well in those tracks. But there are always some tracks, me may experience this Evil, and also myself as well, because I do a bit of league racing, not from Project Cars 2, but for something else. Not going to say which league it is, but I always find that there's tracks that I hate and tracks that I like. And obviously you got to concentrate on all tracks, but you never know. But the ones you like, you can really look forward to and just start to put the hammer down a little bit. As I did see a little bit of a lock-up from Gaza there, going into that chicane there. So he's still catching Wolf. You can see the damage from Wolf, very visible there.
Struggling.
He is struggling a little bit there, so hopefully he could bounce back as his teammate is starting to pull ahead. So his teammate just helped him all he could. Now Ethan is running his own race and letting Wolf try and defend from the Gaza.
Yeah, well, let's see, of course. Well, that's it. Left or right? It's going to be left side. It will. Oh, huge accident.
Oh God. Oh goodness. He
Clipped.
is spun and he's definitely going to go into the pits now. As
Gaza. What on earth happened there?
did they have?
No, I just heard, by the way, Dylan hasn't got any damage from that. Dylan didn't get damage from that then. So, right, that's incredible then. So, didn't get any damage from that one. Is he going to come in? No, he's not. Gaz is disconnected. I'm not sure what on earth.
Oh, it might be
just
Gaz's
happened there.
retirement. I don't know. I think because Wolf was being, because I think Wolf's being caught up in, well, as being the face of pretty much two incidents now. The first one with Jazzman and potentially one with Gaz as well. We didn't really see what happened. Pretty much, it was impossible to tell whose fault it was in the second one, and obviously we didn't see the first one until Evil pointed it out to me. So
I think
yeah,
that was lag Jess there. I'm not too sure what on earth happened there.
yeah,
I think that must have been that because Gaza disconnected straight away. Unless something catastrophic happened there.
yeah, it
that
might have been internet. I'm sure it might be internet.
Odd indeed. So whatever happened there, hopefully that is not bad, as my game is disconnected. And
hold on a second. Am I? Can I chuck you in it? No, I can't. I tried the normal button for an invite, and I can't chuck you an invite. So we are pretty much stuck with this battle going on as Boyraxer and Big Kid Daddy are fighting over 3rd place at the moment. That's probably the only battle you're going to see until Mr. Evil Dragon gets back in the session then. So here comes Boyraxer on Big Kid Daddy. There he goes, another position. He goes, and he's going to worry about Jesco now, up in 2nd place for now. You can see Ethan in the background just wheeling the cars in, so he's not going up, isn't he? He's just trying to pick up the pace a little bit. So yeah, Ethan doing pretty well to try and catch up, but I'm quite shocked that Wolf didn't get any damage from that, because that looked like a nasty shun earlier. My oh my.
Yeah, and for some reason it won't let me back in the servers there, Jess, so
we're going to be screwed then.
So, for whatever reason, I think the servers are playing fiddlesticks with us today, unfortunately, and that can happen, of course. They are very overloaded, saying there is no servers available out there. So,
we might get a mass disconnect soon if that's the case.
So let's hope that's not the case, and hopefully that's just a bit of a small situation. It won't let me back in. So, unfortunately, I can't do a lot. Hopefully you can still see something going on, Jessica.
Yeah, I can still see something going on, but I think we're only going to be following Boyraxer until the end of this race now. As much as he would like it, but yeah, we're not going to see what's happening up front, and that's annoying because because there's people trying to catch up to the guys up ahead, so that's probably the only thing we might possibly see right now. So yeah, it is quite a lot more people than normal.
Do it back in.
You did get a spare? I did send you a spare invite.
Yes, let's see if I can get back in. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for the rest of the try it.
We'll see anyway. We'll find out. Fingers crossed. I've never experienced this when a director has disconnected from the session and I'm left to do nothing. Hopefully in the new game they switch over controls. If the broadcaster disconnects, if the director disconnects, the broadcaster automatically transfers to director, but it hasn't introduced that yet. But hopefully it does that in the new game, because that'll be a lot easier. So otherwise we'll be stuck on the same drivers the whole time, really, and that'll be a bit of a shame. And still no sign of the dragon right now, so oh, I think he's joined. Okay, there we go. As it's kind of a bit of radio broadcasting, but it's kind of not. But it's not much happening on the circuit anyway, so you're not really missing out on that much on the circuit right now. As Boyraxer is still wheeling in Jask. It's pretty much 2nd place right now. Tinus is running away with it right now in the lead, so Tinus is looking favourite to be winning this race outright at the moment. As he's got Ethan, you can see, Ethan's about 7 seconds, I think they're probably not going to catch up soon, but Big Kid Daddy though, he is about, I think, 3 seconds behind, so it's between, I think, Boyraxer and Jasko for P2, and I think that's the only battles happening on the circuit. Evil, let me know when you're back.
I'm currently on 81% joining, so
yeah, we know it takes a while. Hey, there we go. And you need to put the stuff back, Evil, because we've got no timer. There we go. There we go. The birthday boy is back, and I can have my freedom back, and I can see more battles. It's great. It's great.
Oh, that was Leonardo in the wall. That was Leonardo touching the wall then. So, I don't think you might have got damage. So, Wolf, would it come in the meantime? I think that was only spun, of course. Defino's now got ahead of him. So, I'm not sure what I've missed since that happened, but
I don't know what we missed, because I was following exactly the same thing. So, you know, we'll see anyways. Boyraxer, I think he's not improving on his lap time, because see, Jasko, I think, is pulling away a bit more now. So, yeah, I did notice, I think I agree with you, Evil, the Lambo is starting to get a lot fast for some reason. Are they starting to get more glued onto the tracks? We've got a Lambo that is leading the race, and in 2nd as well, and a Mercedes in 3rd. Yeah. So we've got a Lambo 1-2.
Lambo in 4th. That is our of Big Daddy's dropping back now for whatever reason. He must have made a mistake recently. 7 that last lap. Very slow indeed. Then comes Ethan. up into 5th position, ahead of Duffino in 6th. Wolfman in 7th, ahead of Essarts, who's...
Oh,
big
God.
accident.
That was a
That
massive
is
shunt.
not nice to see.
Oh my God, you're used to saying "oh God," and I'm the one saying "oh God." Sorry, but
And
Ezra.
that's god damn it. That car's going to be limping back to the car from the side, through the car left, and you can see crumpled, and bang. That was the end of that one. Meanwhile, Gold is under pressure from Mr. Vectro. So Ferrari versus Ginetta. This could be an interesting little battle, you know, down the back. Let's see. Is Skull going to put on a bit of a fight with our old Dutch friend? Let's find out. On board we go with the mighty Ferrari then. The Italian stallion from Fiorano versus Shed from somewhere in Leeds, I think. I'm not exactly too certain where Ginetta is based, but it's definitely somewhere in the UK.
I can't remember actually. Probably near Brands Hatch area, I think.
Yeah, I think it's in the little motorsport band area, Silverstone, Brands Hatch, rough area. Vectro a bit wide on the rear end. Car with the step out, and that's a common characteristic of that car. But of course, up front, still got that Tinnis Jasco by Raxa, Big Daddy, Ethan, Defino, Wolf, Leonardo, Essa, Fogarty, Scold, and then Vector there. Who? Oh, that's an accident.
Oh
and
my God!
That
was like a hoverboard.
And that was that curb. That was what we said earlier, Jess. You get on that curb, you get wide, and bang goes your uncle into the barrier, bobs your uncle, and unfortunately, off you are into the barrier. And for poor old Vector, that's the first time he's made that mistake, because no one else has hit that. Now, that might mean there might be debris all the way down there. Actually, go on board with Tinnis, so let's have a little look through this corner, because let's see, is that hay bale risk going to be right on the racing line, and Tinnis has hit it. Now, I don't know if that would have done him much damage, of course. Hopefully it hasn't, but it's luckily thrown that thing away.
Yeah, we did see in qualifying, Evil, a lot of people got caught out with the debris, obviously, because someone we saw in qualifying took the brake marker board out, and which didn't help anyone in any way, shape, or form. And meanwhile, Vetro is going to the pits, and he's going to keep going. So fair play to Vetro for limping the car, and even though he's going to be in the pits for a while, he's wanted to finish this race because, you know, you still get points for finishing, and he's still going to do it. So fair play to Vetro. I would give him the Endeavour Award for most consistent drive to actually stay in the race, even after having a bad one. So, you know, I'm guessing he just doesn't want to give up right this second, because you never know what other drivers might be feeling. But he's already 2 laps down already, or lap down, so he is not liking that one bit. But he's still going to keep going at least. Leonardo, another person to keep going. He's in 8th, so pretty good position for him. You can still see a bit of damage on the windows and a bit on the back as well. So he's not liking that one bit. And there's a few cars that don't have any damage until one of it, which is Ethan, one of which is Tinnis and Jasco, who doesn't have any damage either. Boy Raxa, another one doing well as well as Big Kid Daddy, and Essa has gone off into the final corner there, and actually no, a few penultimate corners, and he's not liking life. Look at his car. That's
not looking happy, I might add, right now.
No, it's not.
Like someone has rather hit that thing with a baseball bat a few times. It looks very sad, and that's damage, of course. He spun the car. Looked like he was in Fogarty, so I'm wondering, was that contact down there? Potentially we were, unfortunately not. No, well, that means was Skull will now be promoted up to 10th position. Leonardo, meanwhile, right at the back of Wolf, and in fact, I might have just said he might have touched him there with a bit of a lag bubble there for good measure. He's definitely wanting to get past Wolf right now. Wolf's got damage, remember, he has that 4 aero damage from earlier on. Somehow doesn't have damage from that spin, so hopefully that is not going to affect him too much going forward, but let's find out. So far, Tinner still leads this race, 53-1, 52-9 for Jasco. He's closing up maybe a 10th a second, a 10th a lap, might have said. If he's closing up 10th a second, that would be a very worrying pace indeed. By Raxa is going 53-1, so saying very identical pace to nearly 1,000 as Tinner. Big Kid Daddy's going a bit slower compared to Ethan, who's catching bit by bit. Gap is now only 2.5 seconds with well under 4-5 laps to go. Duffino there in 6th doing a good job. Meanwhile, behind them, we've got this battle between Wolf and Leonardo then. So let's see if Leo can try and come through on the old Wolf Dylan there. A bit rid of the brakes. Bit of a pumpy nearly through the rear then. And no puncturino, luckily for Leonardo. He gets very close up behind him. And you've got to alert for these drivers. They're pushing hard. They're fighting for what is going to be the silver spoon there. Wolf's going to cover the inside here. There's no way Leonardo's going to go out. If he goes outside, there'll be contact. If he goes to the inside, there will be contact. He's going to try the outside. Wolf ever so slightly twitches. You can see Wolf's rear end struggling there just to get grip. As now he just sits up behind him. Leonardo has to only back off, and you can see the dirty air affecting the rear end. Steps out. He catches that one though. And the question is, does he try and make a dive through down into the hairpin? Because he knows Wolf's going to be struggling down there because of the lack of downforce. Let's find out then. Is he close enough to try and make a move? It'll be very risky to try and make a move into the hairpin. He'll get better exit, presumably, because of the downforce. Meanwhile, Ethan is now with Big Kid Daddy. And I think this should be a pretty easy for Ethan.
Yeah, well, I think so, due to the Mercedes straight line speed. We did see that earlier as all. Big Kid Daddy, I think, had a bit of an off there, probably used the debris that was caused earlier. We did see a lot of people being caught out by the debris. We'll see. You said that Ethan is going to get past Big Kid Daddy easily. He's a little bit too further back at the moment.
Yeah, I had to lift off there because that mistake, of course. So, compromises his run down here for another lap. So, Big Kid Daddy's obviously breaks poor old Ethan down the straight and manages to slow him down. You'll stay ahead. Meanwhile, we'll cut backwards to this battle between Leonardo and Wolf. So, one VSR driver attacking, one VSR driver defending, might I say. In between them is a Lamborghini. So one's attacking a Lamborghini, one's defending from a Lamborghini. The middle is a Lamborghini. So,
wow.
So that is a flip of the spirit there, and it definitely is. Well, Ethan closing back up again on towards this, and on board we go on the bumper. Down towards somewhat flying speed. I mean, it's amazing we're on board of a shot like this. Ethan's dropped it. No, he hasn't.
Oh my god, that gave me a panic attack.
You don't want to drop that too close there. Big Kid Daddy really struggling with that rear end there. Ethan pushing that car to its limit. You've got under what, 3 laps to go, give or take, and these drivers are definitely on the ragged edge.
You know, we are approaching the home stretch. They want to give it their all, and if Ethan wants to put up the pressure now, he's got to do it really, as Leonardo then is going to be going to on the attack for the other VSR driver, Wolfman, who was hoping to get a few more points this race, but unfortunately did not quite work out. But still, he's going to get some decent points anyway and still remain in the top 10 right now. Obviously, Leonardo got his best finish in the first race of P8, so he's going to equal that this race, which is good news for him. If he keeps Big Kid Daddy's gone off. So Ethan says thank you very much, see you later, and he's got past Big Kid Daddy, no problems. So that's a shame for Big Kid Daddy. He was running so well as well, but he's got a lot of making up to do now. He's already 2 seconds behind Ethan, and he could have the likes of Defino catch up for him if he is not careful, as Wolfman doing very well to keep the likes of Leonardo behind him. So and look at this, Evil Fogarty in 9th place. He's doing very well.
Yeah, he's not making any mistakes, of course. The drivers behind them all have pitted for different infringements, as Leonardo trying around the outside of Wolf there. Tries to get around the outside. He won't do it there. Wolf will just slightly pull left. No, he gives him the room. Fair play to him. He's giving him the space there. There's not really any opportunity to go around the outside. He'll be forced almost off the road there because there's got to be no grip. He goes around the outside, but he loses all the circuit, and I think that might just be a little bit of an illegal overtake there. I think he might just get away with that.
Yeah, I think so. Or even if it wasn't a legal overtake, I think he might be asked to let through, as Wolf is struggling. Oh my god, he's gone into the grass almost. I think he's not liking his setup one bit at the moment, as we can see Leonardo pulling away. So it might have the aero damage that he got earlier might be starting to affect him a little bit more, as Fogarty could take advantage of this, but it may be too late for him, as we've got pretty much on the third to final lap of this race so far, as Tinnis is having no mistakes up in front. He must be loving life. A familiar sight for Tinnis right now, as he's used to leading this race. The conditions are getting better though, so we might see lap times start to be a lot faster. The fastest lap for him so far, well, his last lap was a 1:52.9, so that's pretty good from him. And obviously Jasko is a lot faster than him as well. And Boy Raxa matching Jasko's pace quite a lot there, so and he's catching him. So you know, Boy Raxa could be on for another battle for this time P2 instead of P1. So he is not having those positions easy, isn't he, Evil?
No, he very much is not. But behind him, we've got Ethan and Big Kid Daddy. Those two have been having a little scrap the last couple of laps. That is Vetru seeing in the background, who is lap. If you're wondering. Meanwhile, Duffino, there he is in 6th position. He's getting caught by Leonardo. So the two yellow submarines are going for it right down the back there. And now ahead of who made that mistake earlier on, who has survived 2 spectacular accidents, might I add, in this race. 3 if you're counting the one with Jasmine, which I will have to have a look later on because I have no idea how it happened. Fogarty, meanwhile, down in 9th position, ahead of Scold in 10th, Essa in 11th position, and Vetro down in 12th, and it's all but laps there. The next cross lap in will be one of Leonardo, I think, or that'll be Duffino. It is Duffino. Well, not a lot left, Jess. We've only got what is going to be the lap after this one, and you gotta say, Tinnis, I said he was Rod's favourite, and well, it's not a surprise really. He was one of the quickest drivers here. I was involved in that crash on the last race where he got on the curb and of course slammed the wall down to where Vetru slammed it earlier today, and he is all set as long as this next lap goes his way to win here in race 2, and if that, I think maybe even extends his championship advantage at the front.
That would be good for Tinnis, obviously. He was 4th before the first 2 races, and he's going to probably jump quite a lot in the standings after that. So fair play to Tinnis, as Tinnis is going to be starting then the final lap of this race. 21 laps were done. They're on the 22nd final racing lap, obviously, because there was one formation lap, and the guys behind are picking up the pace, but it's going to be too little too late. If there was more laps, they would have had more time to try and catch up to them, but obviously every driver has different fuel loads, as Boy Raxa has almost gone into the grass again. So sometimes a loss of concentration might have affected them in some way, as Tinnis can afford to ease off a little bit, but not too much though, because otherwise the guys behind might catch up to him quite quickly. But we're almost certain that the podium is going to stay as it is, with Jasko and Boy Raxa in 3rd. So that is going to be good for them, as obviously we lost Gaza in this race, which was a bit of a shame, and yeah, I think that was the only retirement. I can't remember who else retired. I think it was Defino. No, Defino's in 5th. Where did he come from? Defino's in 5th place. Oh, Ethan's got damage. Okay.
Spun it on the curb, lad. So he's got down towards the hairpin. He spun it, but
that's a shame for Ethan then, because he's running 4th.
Well, here comes Tinnis then. He took the lead earlier on, and he's only got really 1 corner to go. Never mind what's going on down the back, because Ethan's in trouble. Here we go then. Tinnis, we didn't say it last week because we saw Wolf run out of fuel. This week, we will see him win a race. Tinnis comes to the line then. He took the lead. He stayed there. And Tinnis wins here in France. He wins here at Circuit Essarts. He finally gets that 2nd victory of the season, and through that cementing himself as a championship runner. Jasko 2nd, Boy Raxa 3rd. Big Kid Daddy's going to finish in 4th, and behind them there, Ethan's in trouble. He's dropping down the field like a stone in water.
He's got his teammate as well.
Yeah, he's going to finish ahead of him. And Big Kid Daddy is going to finish 4th then across the line. He comes. A dandy 4th. Duffino 5th.
Very impressive
Leonardo
with Duffino. Very
Yeah, good
impressed.
result for him. Leonardo will finish 6th. Ethan is going to finish a rather broken 7th. Ahead of Wolf in 8th. Vetro's parked the car in the side of the circuit. And then we're waiting for the likes of Gold and Fogarty to cross the line. There's Fogarty across the line, then down in 9th position. And then we are just waiting for the car of Gold as well as Essarts. So both the sheds last to finish on the lead lap. Slow work to build for that team. Fogarty 9th then. Recovery job from what was almost a lap down earlier on. To finish then up in 9th position, capitalising on others' mistakes as Vetro is doing some celebratory donuts through the grass there down at the bottom of the circuit. Here you go, Skull then across the line to finish in 10th position. I think there might be one bit of an accident that happened.
Oh God! Oh my word! What happened to Skull and Ethan now? I don't know. That was kind
They're
of.
a friendly rivalry there. They like doing that. They're like each other.
Yeah, they do. They want to have a bit of a laugh, won't they? Wow, that was a good race. I mean, drama from the start, but for most of these guys, they kept it clean, which was great to see. So, we've got Tinnis, who wins, with Jasko in 2nd. Another good result for Jasko. That's going to help him in the championship. Boy Raxa, 3rd place. He got a P2 in the first race, a P3 in the second race. Mr. Consistent, we said earlier the consistency is key, and that has helped Raxa here today. Big Kid Daddy in 4th, Defino 5th, Leonardo 6th, Ethan 7th, McWolfman in 8th, Fogarty 9th, Skull 10th, and then we got Essa Racing and Vetro rounding up your finishers, and your retirement this race is Papano. Everybody else has finished evil, so that's good to see, but shame for Papano, who had a race to forget, only made 5 laps of this race, so yeah, not good. And somehow Vetro got a 10-second penalty there, but that didn't really affect him. But there we go. But we will start to focus on the next race, which if I look at my calendar, it's at Rapana next week in Australia.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. I'm getting the flags mixed up. I do apologise. I've got so many things wrong, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that race. I think it was in one of the seasons I commentated on. I can't remember. But I'm sure it was. But yeah, it is going to be I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I look at the calendar, it's a 90-minute race. Yeah, it's 90 minutes. So it will be reverse championship standings. So basically whoever has made all 3 races and is at the bottom of those lot, they will be starting last. So that will be Fogarty. They'll be on pole. Actually, no, they'll be on pole. So Fogarty will be starting pole with by looks of things, unless the championship standings change. But yeah, should be interesting there. And yeah, do we have anyone on Discord for interviews, or should we wrap this up,
no,
Evil?
We don't. So let's wrap it up then. So thank you everyone for joining us this week. I've been Evil, birthday boy here. Jess has been Jess, and thank you for all our drivers for showing us exactly the reason why the circuit was very much retired in 1994. Until next week, when we go to another very classical circuit, take care. Goodbye.